Hi folks. I was hoping to be back for today, but if I'm not, I have this video. I thought I should make it and be prepared. So today we're going to be adding and subtracting polynomials. Adding is super easy. It's exactly like we did before. This was the adding part was like collecting like terms. So that was the other video that we watched. So really for adding, we're not going to be doing anything different. We're going to be collecting like terms. So super easy. I'm going to do it with algebraics first, and then I'll do it algebraically on the page, depending on how you like to see it. Again, if you want to use algebraics, absolutely use them. They're super handy. Let's see if I have enough. They're super handy to use, and they make things a little bit more visual. So if you like them, use them. But you are eventually going to transition to the point where you don't need algebraics. It's kind of like learning how to add or subtract. We use our calculator to help us. We use those tables to help us. So we're going to go ahead and, like I said, adding's like collecting like terms. So we're going to have 7s plus 14, and we put those in brackets. That's one polynomial, and we're going to add it to the second polynomial, which is 6s squared plus s, minus 6. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this polynomial first. I'm going to set that up. So they're positive s's, so those are my sticks. So I need 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there's 7 of those. Ooh, I don't know if I have 14 or not, but I will try to find them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Woo! Okay, maybe I should zoom out. I'm going to zoom out a little. Can you see the green? I think it's pretty bright. I don't know why that's not showing up here. Okay, well, you can kind of see that they're green now. So those are both positive numbers. Now, when I come over to this polynomial, when I come over to this one, it has negative 6s squared. So s squareds are the big ones, and there's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have enough of those, but barely. I gotta zoom out so you can see my whole page. I made it too bright so you can't see anything else. There we go. Focus that in. Okay, so I've zoomed out, and then I have 1 positive s. So that's, can't see it. I'm going to put it right there. That's that one. And 6 negative ones. So those are red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so just like in collecting like terms, we're going to take away anything that equals 0. So it's matching shapes with positive and negative. So if we look at this, I can take this 1 and match it with a red, and those cancel each out because they give me 0. There, those give me 0. Gives me 0. That gives me 0. Ooh, I'm going to do 2 at once. And that gives me 0. 2 negatives plus 2 positives gives me 0. Now, this is a positive, and these are positive. So now really what I'm doing is I'm counting up what's left, and that's really all that there is to adding. Super easy. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I still have the negative 6 s squared. So I always start with my largest shape or my biggest exponent. And then I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 1 more is 8. So add 8s. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those are positive. So 8 ones. So those are done. And that's the answer. That's it. That's all it is. So algebraics are there to help us if it doesn't quite make sense yet with just the letters. But now I'm going to show you what just the letters looks like. So let me zoom in again. Let me focus. Sort of, kind of. Okay, so we're going to find like terms with this. So I'm on orange paper, so it's not that good. So I know I'm going to put a circle around this one and this one. I know are the same variable. They're the same shape. Maybe that's a little better. I'm not sure. I know that they're both the letter S. The variable's the letter S. I know this one has an S. It's an S squared. Maybe a little bit better. I'll try to brighten that up for us. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so this is an S squared. So that's not the same as that one. So that one's kind of all by itself. So I'm going to put a square around it. And then I'm going to grab a green pen. I don't know if you can tell the colors between my pens. And this is a constant. So I was going to try to draw a triangle around it, but I didn't do a very good job. So there's a triangle. And there's a triangle around that. Now remember, we got to take the sign in front of it. So you see that's a positive 14 and a negative 6. So we're going to add them together. So I'm going to start with my biggest exponent, which is this one. I have nothing else that matches an S squared. So this is all by itself. So I have negative 6S squared. Okay, that's done. I'm going to cross that out just so I know I've dealt with it. Now I'm going to move to the letter S's. I have a positive 7 and I have a single S here. It's got that invisible number 1 in front of it. So 7 plus 1 is 8 S's. And now I have a positive 14 and I'm adding to it a negative 6. I'm adding to it a negative 6. So really it's going to be a subtraction. So 14 minus 6 is going to be a positive 8. Because we keep the bigger sign. If you're unsure of any of these, you can use your calculators. Some people like to see it written like this. If I'm adding them together, I'm going to have 7S plus 14. I'm going to line this up right underneath. So 6S squared plus S. Oh, I didn't do a very good job lining them up. Minus 6. So there's no S squareds on top. I'm adding them. So it's going to be a negative 6S squared. Then I'm going to add those together. That gives me the positive 8S. And then I'm going to add these together. And that gives me the positive 8. Any way you choose to do it is super okay with me. If you prefer to use the tiles, and as you can see, we got the exact same answer using the tiles, that's possible as well. Okay. Now this one's a little bit harder to do because I don't have my X, Y tiles, but we do have them. Okay. So this time we're going to do it just algebraically. I'm not going to use my algebra tiles to help because I've got some different variables in here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab some highlighters, and I hope they turn out under the big lights of my document camera. So I know that a squared matches 5a squared there. So I highlighted those in orange. So I'm going to do those, and I'm going to add them together. So I add their coefficients. So 2 plus 5 is 7a squared. And now I'm going to do my a's. So there's a single a right there. And I'm looking around. Is there any more single a's? Oh, there's one right there. Okay, there's a single a right there. You can't really tell the difference between orange and yellow, but so I have a positive 1 plus a negative 5. So 1 subtract 5 is going to be a negative 4, and we just keep the variable of a. All right, next on my list is subtract 3b. So that's a negative, oh, that was terrible. Maybe I'll underline it. So a negative 3b, hopefully you guys can see it on your page. So I'm looking for something over here that is just b. So that's that one right there. So I have a negative 3b plus 6. So negative 3 plus 6 is going to give me a plus 3b. All right. I'm going to try blue, but I think it's going to be the same problem. Next up in my list is an AB. Oh my goodness. And I'll show you what those look like in algebra tiles maybe when I get back. So I have a negative 7AB and a positive 3AB, and I'm adding them together. So negative 7 add positive 3 is going to be a negative 4AB. And then my last one, I'll underline that. I have b squared, and I have a b squared here. So I have 3 plus a negative 4, which is going to leave me with negative 1b squared. Now, you don't have to put the 1b in there if you don't want to. And that would be the answer to this question. We can also do it vertically, like I did up here. We can also do this vertically. So let's try that one, but vertically. So let me see if I can copy that down. What was it? It was, maybe I'll write it out here. 2a squared plus a minus 3b minus 7ab plus 3b, oh my goodness, b squared. And we're going to add, actually I don't even need those brackets. Let me get rid of those. We're going to add to it. We're going to vertically add to it. So we're going to line up the ones that make sense. So negative 4, oh, that's not true. We've got to line up the things together. Okay, I'm scratching that out and I'm going to start again. So I have 2a squared plus a minus 3b minus 7ab plus 3b squared. Okay, so now when I look at this one here, I got to stack the like things, the things that we highlighted together, I'm going to stack them on top of each other. So I'm going to stack on top of it the 5a squared. Remember that we're adding these things together. And then next were the a's. So then it was minus 5a. And then it was the b's. So that's plus 6b. Almost like a treasure hunt. You kind of have to find the things that go together. So it's like a treasure hunt trying to find the things that match. So it doesn't matter the order that you do them in, but you have to take the sign in front of them. Okay? So that's the important part. Now we're just going to we're going to do these two together. And all we're doing is adding the coefficients. So that's 7a squared. We're going to add the coefficients here. Remember that there is an invisible number 1 in front of that one. So we have 1 plus a negative 5, which will give us 4, negative 4a. So we write that as subtract 4a. Then we have negative 3b add 6b. So that's going to be add 3b. It's a positive answer, so we make that an add sign. Negative 7 add 3ab. So we are going to have subtract 4ab. And then we have 3 add a negative 4b squared. So that'd be subtract 1b. So if my answer is negative, it goes as a subtract. So that's my answer. So you can do it vertically or horizontally. You can use algebra tiles if you want to. We haven't seen the algebra tiles with the XY, but we do have them, and I'll show them to you once I get back. They're just in a different room. So that, the add vertically, that's this example right here. So hopefully you have this copied down in this section on your notes. All right, so moving right along. We are going to keep going. We're going to add these two things. And you can choose whatever way you'd like to add them. I think that I might use algebra tiles just because it's a nice simple one that I can do really quickly. So 6x plus 3, that's my first polynomial, 3x plus 4. That's nice and easy. So this one is 6 green sticks because they're positive. 6 green sticks because they're positive. And then 3 yellow ones because they're positive. and then I have 3 green sticks on this side, and 4 on this side. So nothing cancels each other out on this one. We're just going to combine like terms. So I'm going to count up how many sticks I have. I have 6 here plus another. 3 is 9x, because my sticks represent x's, so I'm going to have 9x, and then I have 3 ones plus another 4 ones, so it's going to be 9x plus 7. So that's going to be the answer there. I like algebra tiles, but they get really hard to use when we get a little bit complicated or we have bigger numbers. So if we wanted to stack them vertically, that would be 6x plus 3 plus 3x plus 4. We're going to add these two because they are like terms, so that's going to be 9x. Add these two because they're constants, that's going to be plus 7. We get the same answer. It works both ways. Okay, now subtracting. Subtracting is difficult. Not super difficult, but we are going to use algebra tiles to kind of mimic it first, and then we're going to use algebra to do it. So when you're subtracting, you can think of it as performing the opposite operation of adding. That'll make a little bit more sense as we go along. So I'm going to zoom out so we can see my whole sheet. Okay, and the first one was 4c plus 3d. I don't think I can use algebra tiles for this one because I don't have, and we're going to subtract 2c plus 1d. Okay, this is important that we use brackets. Not so much on the first one, but definitely on the second one. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it on the paper, and then we'll do this one with algebra tiles. So again, we're going to do it, we can do it horizontally. So we have 4c plus 3d in brackets, subtract 2c plus 1d in brackets. Now the thing is you're subtracting everything in that bracket. So what I like to do is you keep the first one the exact same, and then you change the signs in everything in the next bracket. So it's going to be subtract, this is a positive 2c, so it's, again, that negative is attached to the 2c, and if this is a positive 1d, it's going to be subtract 1d. So now we can highlight things that are alike. We have the 4c and the negative 2c. So 4 subtract 2 is 2c. And then we have, I got to use the underline here, the positive 3d and the negative 1d. And 3 subtract 1 is positive 2d. And that would be my answer. I can't get it any smaller than that. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one using algebra tiles. Get rid of that because we just did that one. So we're going to do 3x squared minus 4x, that's my first polynomial, subtract 2x squared minus 6x. Okay, so I'm going to build both my polynomials. So I have 3 of the positives, and I have 4 red sticks because it's minus 4. All right, now I'm going to build my other 2. So this is, oops, 2, 2. Oh, and I have 6 sticks. I better zoom out. See the whole thing. Sorry, zoom in there. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, wrong color, 6. Okay, so here's the add the opposite. So what I'm going to do is these things are subtracted. So what happens is I'm going to change all the signs in the second bracket. So let me slide this down a minute. So when I say add the opposite, we're going to keep the first one the same. change that to an add, and then we're going to change the sign here. So this one, because we said adding was super easy, this one is going to be a negative 2x squared. And this one was negative, so we're going to add the opposite sign, so it's going to switch back to a positive. So really what we do is we take these colors and we flip them. They just flip colors. Super easy. That's all they do. So if they were red, they're now green. If they were blue, they're now red. Okay, and now it's just adding, so we're collecting like terms. So I have 3 of these and I have 2 of these. So this equals 0 when I put these two things together. A positive plus a negative equals 0. I got another set of those, that equals 0. So I'm just taking those right off. I don't need those anymore. Then I have these two match those two, and these two match, I'm making a mess. So these all cancel each other out. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. So those all cancel each other out. What I'm left with for an answer is 1x squared plus 2x. And that's what I'm left with for an answer. And so now we're going to do it horizontally and prove it algebraically. And this is how I would do it if I'm doing it algebraically. So again, I'm going to drop the brackets and change the sign. So the first polynomial stays exactly the same. It doesn't change. So I'm going to change it to an add. That becomes a negative 2x squared because it was positive in the bracket. And it was a negative 6, so I'm going to be adding. And now this is a positive 6. So again, straightforward. I've done that. I'm going to take this guy and add him to this guy. So 3 plus a negative 2 leaves me with 1x squared. And I have negative 4x plus 6x leaves me with a positive 2x. And that's the exact same answer we got when doing our algetiles. We got that same answer. So it's the adding the opposite of the second one. Let me zoom in here. So we're going to try this one without, we can use algebra tiles if we want to for this one. So we're going to start with, I'm going to rewrite my first polynomial. Now I'm going to add, I'm going to change that to an add, and now I'm going to do the opposite sign. So it's going to be add a negative a squared, add, it was negative 3, so it's going to be a positive 3a now. And it was a 2, so we're going to be adding a negative 2. And some people might choose to write it like this. So the first one always stays the same. Add a negative is just subtracting. And those are the exact same things. This means this, and this means this. But this, to me, sometimes that first line makes a little bit more sense. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like terms. So I have a negative 2a and a negative 2a squared and a negative 1a squared. So that's going to give me a negative 3a squared. And then I have a positive 1a and a positive 3a. So that's going to give me plus 4a. And then I have, oh, I just highlighted my hand. I have a negative 1 and a negative 2. So a negative 1 and a negative 2. So 1 minus 2, or negative 1 minus 2 is a negative 3. So that would be my answer. So we can't get any smaller than that. That's as good as it gets. All right, one last example, and then you're diving into your assignment. All right, so nothing different here. It's got a few weird letters, but it's no big deal. We've done this before, we can handle it. The first polynomial stays the same. So 5x minus 3xy plus 2y squared. It's everything after that subtraction sign that's going to change. So we're going to have add a negative 8x squared. We're going to have add a positive 7xy. and we are going to have add a positive 4y squared. You're like, Miss Guyan, why is this in brackets, but this guy isn't? If it's positive, it doesn't need brackets around it. I just got lazy and I didn't do it. I'm sorry. Just gonna. Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. So I'm going to find my x squareds, which are here and here. So we're just combining them. So 5x minus 8. 5x squared minus 8x squared. So that's going to leave me with a negative 3x squared. So you see why that first unit was super important, because we're using all of our knowledge about numbers and stuff like that. So now I have a negative 3xy, and I have a positive 7xy. So that's going to leave me with add 4xy. And this feels a little weird because we're going between positives and negatives, and we're going add and subtract, and we keep switching them, and it feels a little uncomfortable, and I totally get that. Then we've got a positive 2y squared and a positive 4y squared. Those are both positive numbers, so we're going to have add 6y squared. And there we go. You can stack them on top of each other if you like the horizontal method. I like the vertical, or this is the horizontal method. If you like the vertical method where you stack them on top of each other, you can do that too. I like this, but I end up circling or highlighting the like terms. It helps me see it better in my head. Okay, so you guys have some math work to get done. There's 3 different pages in this textbook. I'm hoping your assignment from 3.3 is done. And on Monday, you have problem set 5. So you want to try to get as much work as you can done for problem set number 5. Problem set number 5 will include 3.1 and 3.2, not today's lesson. So if that helps, great. If you have any questions, you can go see Miss Thompson or Mr. Switzer. Ms. Thompson's in room 215 and Mr. Switzer is right next door in room 213. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you soon.